I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum in September in Vancouver, and I'm joined by Paul Westsells of Western Copper&Gold. It's the first time you guys have come to this show because I added your company to the portfolio fairly recently. So thanks for coming.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a great, day and a half at this point in time.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
And so I think the way that I want to have this conversation is there were a couple reasons that I added Western to the portfolio recently, and I would say the capture of that is that there's quite a few aspects of the company and the project that mean that you're uniquely positioned to perform at this stage in the market. So I think we're at the beginning of a really strong gold market. I think that has a bunch of ramifications in terms of money that's coming in, the kinds of money that's coming in, the types of projects that it goes to. And I think your company is going to be attractive to a bunch of that. So obviously you think the same. Do you want to take us through some of that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, first of all, just to bring everybody into the picture, I mean, so Western Copper&Gold has one asset, which is the casino project, located up in the Yukon. We love being up in the Yukon. Great, there's a mine opening up here shortly up in the Yukon, so a great mining district. But we've got the big one, casino copper-gold project, 10 billion pounds of copper, 18 million ounces of gold. Right now in the resource, we actually have done drilling over the summer, so that's going to go up from where it is. We have feasibility study on the project. The economics look very, very good, and we've got a couple of years of permitting behind us as well. So, yeah, a couple things just to hit on what you talked about. I mean, first of all, if you look at the copper market, there's not a lot of big copper projects. We have a copper project, but importantly, we've got a copper project with 18 million ounces of gold. And if you look at the big gold space, there just is not a lot of large gold projects in jurisdictions that anybody wants to be in that add up at, I mean, we add up at $1,100 gold, at $1,500 gold. I mean, this thing is a home run. So it's and you know what, as a stock, and this is obviously I'm trying to talk to shareholders here on your behalf. We've certainly seen an appreciation with the gold price, but we're not quite as lofty as some of these pure gold plays, and so there's still lots of room to go.
And I think there's a lot of room to go for the space in general, for the gold space in general, because we're early in this market. And as the market grows, I think what we're all expecting and what has happened conventionally in gold markets is that generalist money turns towards the sector because gold is an opportunity for a particular reason as risks are rising elsewhere in the safe haven trade and all of that. And when those dollars come in, they don't go to the tiny high-risk explorers. They go to, projects that are defined, that have clear value, that are very valid. And not only do you have that with a feasibility study, you're about to update the feasibility study, like you say, you're getting close to permitting, but you also have what we'd call sort of the optionality aspect, which is that you simply have this massive reserve and resource, and people, when you just do a per ounce calculation for what a market cap should be, if your multiple is 18 million, that works.
Exactly. No, I know, and everyone does this, how much per ounce, and I'm like, by any metric on that, we look incredibly undervalued. And the other thing with our project that I like, and the company, I mean, right now, on a sort of a P to NAV, we're probably less than 0.1 P to NAV. So in terms of upside, it's an enormous upside. I mean, at the highest, we were at $4. We're trading somewhere around $1 right now. I mean, a year and a half ago, we were at $2. I mean, there's nothing to stop us from going to $2 to $3 to $4. I mean, that upside is not restricted by anything at all because it's such a large project. And again, back to why I think that the generalists like stories like ours is because if you look at where you create value in junior mining companies, you create value with the drill bit, which is what we're trying to do this summer. And you also create value when projects such as ours, bring in a big partner or get sold. And if you look at what's happened in the gold space, we've seen this consolidation with Barrick and Newmont consolidating. There's lots of rumors of that, coming down. Now that you have large gold companies, they need large gold projects. And again, you look at that large gold project space, it's a small space, and we have one of the best assets in that space.
And so that's the big picture. You're also, of course, like you say, doing a bunch of work right now. You're drilling, which you haven't done for quite some time. So that's exciting. And that will roll into a fair bit of news flow over the next sort of 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, and you know, it's a great time actually to invest in Western right now because, I mean, it's beginning of September. End of September, we should have release all of our drill results, you know, which allows everyone to take a look. And I mean, it's a big copper porphyry. You don't have really exciting drill results, but it's just more good, solid ounces that we're going to be adding. And then at the end of the year, we'll have an updated resource. And you know, right now it's at 18 million ounces. We did do some step-out drilling in addition to a bunch of infill drilling. So we're pretty excited about where that's going to end up. And you know, our fingers are crossed that we go over 20, but we'll see.
Just for the sake of it.
Nice round number, right?
Exactly.
So sounds good,
And then at some point, update the feasibility. This drilling will hopefully convert inferred to indicated, lower the strip ratio, improve things. And finish off permitting. Yeah,
and so that's what next year looks like. And so next year is going to be, I mean, depending on the drill results, there might be a bit more drilling that we would do at the beginning of next year, but we'd look to update the feasibility study. We might look at doing it a bit differently too. That's some of the things we're talking about. I mean, right now it's a big project, it's a big capital, and so looking at, you know, are there some opportunities to stage the capital, you know, start off a little bit lower, make it a little bit more accessible to a greater number of potential partners on that as well.
Busy days, but exciting times.
Days. Very good,
For sure. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.